Candidates for Kentucky governor go face-to-face tonight in their first televised debate. What they had to say about the issues.
A fire destroys a central Kentucky house, but the homeowners still consider themselves lucky how the family managed to escape the fire.
Almost 4 months after a Bourbon County teenager was killed in a crash, a man has been charged with her death. What led deputies to file the charges?
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. Kentucky's candidates for governor met tonight for their first televised debate. Matt Bevin, Jack Conway, and Drew Curtis battled it out at Bellarmine University.
Those candidates shared a few jabs and their ideas for leading this state. The questions came from journalists, students, and social media. Our Phil Pendleton is in Louisville tonight. He tells us what the candidates had to say. That's our top story at 11.
Well, there were a lot of issues discussed on this stage tonight. Medicaid reform, taxes, drug use, even the Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis issue came up, as each candidate was only given a short amount of time to answer a lot of questions on a lot of issues.
With the candidates for Kentucky governor.
Just a few minutes in, the question over the county clerk in Rowan County came up.
We as a state have been at the forefront of recognizing the fact that there are no rights that anyone has that suppress the rights of others.
Look, I think Kim Davis went to jail because she defied a federal court order. I have sympathy for her, but we are a nation of laws.
I think you're both wrong. As the executive, you have an oath to uphold the laws of the land of your state, regardless of whether you believe in them or not.
Education, taxes, and drug use were among the many questions from journalists. On gun violence, Conway and Curtis talked about the need for mental health reform. Bevin used that question to take a jab at Conway.
So much of what comes out of your mouth, Jack, is absolutely made up.
Candidates were allowed to ask a question to each other, Conway to Bevin.
What is it in your tax returns that you don't want the people of Kentucky to see?
Curtis questioned if Kentucky has the money to do many of the things Conway wants to do.
I hesitate to point this out, but unfortunately your solutions always seem to be, I'll fund this. And the problem is that you've actually got to have the funds that come from somewhere.
WKYT's Bill Bryan called it an interesting debate.
Tense, of course. There were jabs and attacks, but it was also a civil occasion in which they were able to, I think, address a wide range of issues.
In closing, Bevin said this is a race about who you can trust. Curtis says Kentucky needs a governor that can see problems before they occur. And Conway says this is a race about a man who understands Kentucky and has a plan for Kentucky. In Louisville, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
And there were a few things all the candidates agreed on. One of those is restoring voting rights to some convicted felons.
We have seen some beautiful weather roll through the bluegrass this week, and tonight we are tracking a warm-up for your Wednesday. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a first look at your forecast.
Yeah, we continue to deal with this big high pressure that is across the eastern part of the country, and that is giving us the very nice weather we've been seeing over the past few days. And as you mentioned, the mild and warm up is now in progress with that high anchored just to our east. Though underneath that high, skies are clear. That means everything is calm on Live First Alert Defender. Nothing going on with a clean sweep coming back across the entire area. Heading out and about on your Wednesday, out the door tomorrow morning. This sounds familiar, doesn't it? Temperatures into the low 50s, mid 70s around lunchtime. Another great day on tap tomorrow afternoon for the trip back home. Temps are awfully comfortable once again with a big blue sky and upper 70s to low 80s across the entire area. That's the same forecast basically we'll throw at you for Thursday and into Friday, but as we gear up for the weekend, we've got a cold front that is on the move, and that will bring some changes back into central and eastern Kentucky. And guys, as always, we'll break down what the changes mean for you with a new hour-by-hour forecast when I come back in just a few minutes.
They lost everything they owned in a fire, but tonight they're still calling themselves lucky.
Firefighters in Madison County were called to a home on Three Forks Road around 9 this morning. One of the homeowners tells us her mother-in-law pulled her husband from the home. Monique Blair is at the live desk with more on the rescue. Monique?
Well, Amber and Sam, the homeowner, tells me she lost nearly everything she owned. And although the two people who were inside the home, her mother-in-law and her husband, made it out safely, she says it was a close call.
Robin Bragg's morning started like any other. She left her home on Three Forks Road and drove into work. But it wasn't long into her drive that she got a call. she'll never forget.
My mother-in-law said my house was on fire.
Bragg says that's when she quickly turned her car around.
And I saw the flames from the interstate.
But Bragg was worried about more than just her home. She was worried about her husband. He just had back surgery last week and can't walk well.
They had my husband and my mother-in-law out. My mother-in-law somehow, in God's will, was able to bring him down the steps and get him out to the front porch.
Bragg's home is a complete loss, and her cat didn't make it out of the fire. But she says she's still thankful because she knows it could have been worse.
My home was gone. If it wasn't for my mother-in-law, my husband would never have made it out.
And it was something Bragg and her family found outside their charred home that is giving them comfort.
On the side of the house, God is with us. There's a cross that fell. Pieces of wood fell into the shape of a cross. So I know God is with us to get us through this.
Now, Bragg says she had a fire safe in her home with documents like birth certificates, card titles, and even some jewelry, and all those things were all unharmed. At the live desk, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Monique, thank you. That fire also destroyed the family's truck. An official cause of that fire has not yet been released.
Nearly 4 months after a Bourbon County teenager was killed in a crash, a driver has been charged with her death. The crash happened over the Memorial Day weekend on Interstate 64 in Scott County. The sheriff's office says that 32-year-old Mohammed Abdullah was driving recklessly when he hit the vehicle that 13-year-old Emily Sams and her family was riding in. Sams was killed in the crash. This week, a grand jury indicted Abdullah with manslaughter and 2 counts of assault for seriously injuring Sam's parents.
They felt from the beginning that this collision definitely didn't have to happen, and a child definitely didn't have to lose their life over it. So they did their investigation from the aspect of trying to find out exactly what caused this so that they could determine if it could have been prevented.
Deputies think that Abdullah is back in Baltimore, Maryland, where he lives. Deputies expect marshals to arrest him soon.
New tonight, deputies in Laurel County are looking for the person responsible for causing a crash and then leaving. The crash happened just after 3 yesterday afternoon on Kentucky 229 south of London. Deputies say an SUV traveling south was hit by a dark-colored semi-tractor trailer coal hauler. The coal truck left the scene. The driver of the SUV was taken to UK hospital with serious injuries. Deputies say the coal truck has damage to its front driver's side. 2 people were injured after their car crashed into a bank tonight in Boyle County. Danville firefighters say the car went through the foyer doors of the Chase Bank on the corner of 3rd and Main Streets. Police didn't say what caused that car to crash.
Friends are remembering a man killed in a crash yesterday in Lexington. Police say that 52-year-old Edward Gaines III of Lexington was a passenger in an SUV that turned into the path of a dump truck on Richmond Road. Gaines was killed. Friends say that Gaines, who went by the name Tommy, was a musician, and they often traveled to festivals to play together.
Music, it was something that just drew us all together, you know, and to be able to do something we all love and do it together with good people, that's what Tommy was all about.
Well, police say the driver and another passenger in the SUV were taken to the hospital. The driver of the dump truck was not injured.
As friends and family of a Kentucky State Police trooper prepare to say their final goodbyes later this week, we're learning more about his accused killer. State police say Joseph Johnson Shanks shot and killed Trooper Cameron Ponder on Sunday night after a traffic stop in Lyon County. Johnson Shanks was killed Monday morning after a confrontation with KSP, but sometime during the 8-hour search for him, he apparently recorded a video and posted it to social media.
Don't see anybody know what I love out here, man. Like I did something I ain't mean to. I'm regret it.
Social media shows that Johnson Shanks was a part of the Ferguson protest, but pictures from his alleged social media accounts also show him posing and smiling with police during the protest. Johnson Shanks' niece was also in the car. She was arrested for hindering prosecution. The 2 children, ages 2 and 5, were taken into the custody of state police.
School officials and police in Knox County are investigating after 2 students were taken to the hospital with drug symptoms. School leaders say the 2 students bought the drugs at school. Barberville police have arrested 2 people accused of selling the drugs. 18-year-old Dante Brown is charged with trafficking, and a juvenile was also taken into custody. Police say that Brown was selling a substance advertised as LSD. The 2 students who police say bought the drugs have been released from the hospital.
New at 11 tonight, dozens of people packed into a Lexington church to discuss the future of a recently closed Kroger store in Lexington. Kroger closed its store on Romney Road Saturday because of declining sales. Urban County Council member Bill Farmer put together a forum to talk with people about what they want to see in that space.
What we got were some really good ideas about how to work with the current property owner, and a great list of potential, what do I say, middle-sized markets that could go in here that we're going to make some contacts on and see if we can, kind of gin something down to a winner.
Farmer says most of the people at the meeting said they wanted a grocery store back in that space. A Bell County company is closing their doors for good. Today, a spokesperson for Duraline says they plan to close the plant before the end of the year. More than 100 people work at that plant. We're told non-union employees will get some type of severance package, while union members will receive compensation from the union. The plant is set to close December 15th.
Surf up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
The death toll is rising tonight in Utah. Officials now say at least 16 people have died because of flash flooding.
On Monday, flash flooding came out of nowhere and swept away a group of mothers and their small children as they tried to drive across a road in Hilldale, Utah. 12 people died. 1 person is missing, while 3 children survived. The youngest victim so far was just 4 years old.
We know that a 100-year flood's going to come sometime. But this is tragic because I don't recall this kind of fatalities with the flooding. It's a wake-up call to the community that it's real.
Those same flash floods blamed for the deaths of at least 4 hikers in nearby Zion National Park. 3 hikers have not yet been located. Rescuers were waiting for water levels to drop before entering the canyon to search for the missing. Fire officials in California say a massive wildfire in Lake County is about 15% contained tonight. That fire has destroyed more than 100 square miles of land and hundreds of structures since Saturday. Another wildfire has charred more than 200 square miles and is 40% contained tonight. Fire officials say that fire was getting close to the Sierra Nevada's giant sequoia trees, some of which are 3,000 years old.
A Central Kentucky law enforcement officer wants to make it easier to track repeat animal abuse offenders. Last week, police in Florida charged Catherine Nygaard and Nancy Freeman last week with animal cruelty. But over the last several years, the mother and daughter pair have been charged with similar crimes in Tennessee, Arkansas, Georgia, and in Lexington. Fayette County Animal County Chief Nathan Bowling says he wants to see a national database that would track down people convicted of animal cruelty charges.
To a judge or jury, they're going to only hear the first offense. If they knew that that person had been convicted 2 or 3 times prior to that, their penalty may be the maximum of what the sentence can carry then.
In the 2005 Lexington case, only Kathleen Nygaard was convicted of 7 counts of animal cruelty. The jury found her mother, Nancy Freeman, not guilty. One Kentucky creek has an unusual resident, an alligator. According to a Louisville TV station, the 3-foot alligator is living in Skaggs Creek, which is a stream near Barren River Lake. Kentucky Fish and Wildlife say they're aware of the alligator, but they say it's not a threat to people. They believe someone's pet got loose.
The new Fayette County superintendent won't be at work for a few days next week. Manny Kalk announced today he'll be having sinus surgery. Kalk says he will be in the hospital for a few days and that a full recovery will take several weeks. But he tells us he will work from home when he gets out of the hospital. He will hold meetings through Skype and he will stay connected through email and text. We certainly wish him the best.
We do. Poor guy.